World War. What do we all know about it? Screaming, yelling, crying, murdering, gambling, tracking, worrying, bombing, fearing, hurting, struggling, aiming, shooting, arming, commanding, forcing, pushing, throwing, glowing, fighting, betraying, spoiling, donating, giving up, bordering, destroying, or maybe surviving and moving on, or just living and dying. What is World War? According to Wikipedia, World War is a war which is engaged in by all or most of the principal nations of the world. My name is Petro Kizup and I'm welcoming you to my channel to this new video about World War. But in the world that we live in, according to the music group Killers, I gotta believe it's worth it. Without a victory, I am so sanctified and free. Well, maybe I'm just mistaken. Lesson Lord and the Wilps keep tuning. This is the world that we live in. So that's just a song that gives us potential and meaning that we should think now about something that was living without any victories under someone. Just live and that's it. Enjoy it. However, from 2019, our world we live in turned upside down, and nations all around the world could not cope with the amount of stress, issues, and abysses. 2019 was the start of Chinese COVID, which people did not pay full attention to at first, and then caused them an ocean of diseases and an ocean of mortals. Unfortunately, to the end of 2020, the number of deaths was about 3 million. In 2021, the world had a small time out from that terrible pandemic to prepare for another waves, which again, like afterwards, took 3.5 million more lives. However, now no one could even think about how the fall in 2022 will be definitive for inhabitants of Earth. As 23rd of February, usual day at school, I have spent good time with my colleagues and friends, spoke to a lot of people, especially teachers, having friendly disputes about possibilities of the start of the war. Of course, at that time already, US magazines and news reports were boasting about the maximum probability of Russian troops to invade Ukraine at the end of February. To be honest, maybe only 5% of people in country believed it in words of the journalists and war experts. We were relying on our sovereignty and any right sense of the Russian president. Yeah, of course, he made Ukrainians suffer from hell of a lot of problems in 2014, including Maidan, loss of territories, divorced families due to political opinions. Can you imagine that? Loss of family members, especially men who went to Lugansk and Donetsk regions to help to help volunteers keep our country straight and strong from green humans. Having $8,000 in state coffers, according to very experienced politician with Yaroslav Mudry medal, Yuri Lutsenko, we lost some territories on East and Crimea, but at least didn't lose Ukraine. Yeah, but personally, I remember the chat with my lovely teacher of Ukrainian and worldwide history, and that small piece of chat was that Russia will never intrude Ukraine like in 2014. There is no chance of that, even with having dozens of people in army reserves. And then it comes on 24th of February, Thursday. I am woken up from dead, me walking and saying, "Son, tell your teachers that you will be absent today." Putin declared war on Ukraine. Now, in July, August 2022, after 5 months of war for humans existing, we've already seen a couple of cases which shake people's imagination about common sense and intelligence. For example, two-faced President of France Emmanuel Macron, who calls Putin 60 times a day to know whether he gets French cheese and wine or no. Two-faced President of Germany Olaf Scholz, who suggested to save Putin's face and end the war diplomatic way. Clearly not two-faced but pro-Russian anti-Homo sapiens Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban, who blocked and still blocking almost half of Western weapons and armory, almost two-faced, probably the strongest amongst others. President right now is Turkish President Erdogan, who is planning to build new world order as in 16th, 17th century. And again, he is putting Zelensky and Putin at one table, but sitting with the last close. Someone say just not to dictate Russian rules, some would just to be with his political friend Putin. The future companion could be both. Also, we could observe Serbia-Kosovo conflict, which is fifth already, which started under weird circumstances and spontaneously, and ended the same way exactly from 31st of July till 1st of August. And the most important vital thing to be aware of and prepare yourself to World War is Chinese Taiwan gone rattling from now on. That conflict lasted for last 10 years, but rattling started now. However, this rattling could spill over and missile flying and tanks bombing cities and infrastructure. In this year, you never know. You never know what Asian nations, especially Chinese one, will show and prepare you to. Communists are communists, goddamn. That's a fact. The fact how they almost destroyed Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic with hunger in 1932, 1933 and 1946, 1947. The fact that in China people could not say a word against power, guys, so was in Russia, of course, and even use West stuff such as clothes, social medias, showing that communism is probably not the best ideology we can monitor, do we? So now we have the final and the key time to coordinate our future with our interests, our sources and our characters. And alas, now we finally came to an answer what the World War is and why I am recording this video with the title World War. In 1914, the World War I began with the fall of theory of balance power, which was dedicated to Europe, where authorities stated balance and stability to them own and to other states. It all started from Sarajevo assassination, where Archduke Franz Ferdinand was shot by simple and ordinary student Gavrilo Princip from Bosnia and Herzegovina, who after buying bread in a shop pulled trigger several times and killed Ferdinand that way. Most historians say that this was exactly the kick-off moment of that war, of the First World War, which ended with such results: fall of German, Russian, Ottoman and Austro-Hungary empires, Russian Revolution that caused to Soviet Union creation, Turkish civil war for independence, and the League of Nations creation. Then poor Earth had a 20-year recess, as you all know it, which was relevant for them to strengthen navy and army potential, invent new weapons and missiles, and the most important, decide on what political path you are on, as beginning with September 1st, 1939, Germany, after Stalin-Ribbentrop or Molotov-Ribbentrop agreement, invaded Poland, from the western part, which covers Britain and France, followed by other several countries such as Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, declaring the war on the 3rd of September to Germany, as they didn't follow Chamberlain's restrictions. We will talk about Chamberlain a minute later. Oh, that house was a brilliant play for dictator Stalin to grab Baltic countries to Soviet Union to prepare for real hell, because he knew that Hitler wasn't so clear, and with USSR bases in Lithuania, Estonia, and Latvia. Then Stalin tried to invade Finland, which was grossly smaller than that socialist giant, and took only several teeny parts of it. Also, let us not forget the London-Berlin bombings in 1940, which dragged dozens of deaths and damages in both countries, killing innocent people as the Russians now. And definitely we are not forgetting the USA factor. That was really, really vital, with so much help by signing Lend-Lease by President of US, the most intelligent, powerful PM of all time, Winston Churchill, as he helped that world really much. And exactly why am I would like to why would I like to talk about Chamberlain? Because the Chamberlain is a little crying poor puppy, and that is actually the fact. Maybe one of the most one of the most weirdest, one of the most puppiest, if we could say like that, one of the most like teeny PM. Of course, those who would like to announce that he wasn't like that, who would like to argue with me, who thinks that Chamberlain is worth mentioning in the world history, is quite good PM of that Britain, you may firstly you may have mistaken, you are mistaken at first, and then if you do not know why exactly are you mistaken, you better watch the film, the movie called Munich, The Edge of War. And that's if you do not want to read some books of that, that's a really good film that will help you to understand the situation inside the world, inside the Britain, inside the Germany at that time. That's a really good film. I will put the link in the bio, in the comments or in bio, so you could find it on IMDb, and just take a look at that, so you would understand my words about Chamberlain. But actually, back to the materials. The bloodiest and the scariest war in our world ended with a fall of Nazis, Germany, fascists, Italy, and Emperor power of Japan. Then dissolution of League Nation, and then replacing it with creation of United Nations as today we know it, decolonization of Asia and Africa, reoccupation of European territories, and the beginning of the Cold War between Soviet Union and USA. I would literally beg you to see the difference between Nazis and nationalists, as most people do not see it. But it's really simple. Nazis come from National Socialist Party, which was led by Hitler before the World War II. But nationalists are those who find defending country's own interest priority to anything else. So, as saying other words, nationalists build the whole country's politics from intersections, and in the classic way, in the classic way, you may understand the word nationalist if you will put the sign of equality to natives and nationalists. That will be grossly irrelevant, and maybe not the old historians, but those who have something right there, they will agree with me, because natives and nationalists, again, that's really different things. As for example, Sir Henry Kissinger describes founding of nationalism by Cardinal Richelieu, raison d'état, a nationalism. Now we have China threatening Taiwan to invade and grab little piece of Democracy Island, with full package of human rights, the huge anti-democracy and pro-communist ideological dragon with Xi Jinping at the head. A lot of interested individuals are now talking about possibility of World War III. So as me, nuclear potential of these three beasts, three hegemons, US, Russia and China, possibility of new international war is now close to 100%. There is no question that our world and history is cyclical, and everything we had 500, 400, 300, 200 years ago will repeat again. There are no guarantees of eternal safety. Uh, you may cry or yell at me, or at people around you, or at power with Zelensky on the front right now, which I not recommend you to do, but you won't change anything. Russia may not take whole Ukraine, may not take, but they would cut most part of it. China may not take whole Taiwan today, but they would definitely later. And if world community and democratic leaders won't stop this now, they won't be stopped later. As dropping nuclear bombs in Central Europe, in USA, will not be prevented by words of respect and deep concern of Ukrainian army, which stops the most terroristic person this world has ever seen. Many people are mistaken saying that World War III will be started if China smashes Taiwan. It starts exactly from 24th of February, when Putin told his people to kill innocent ones, to kill Ukrainians, to destroy them, to destroy housing estates, to destroy malls. By the time we defend whole world, whole Europe from invasion, and those strikes we have on regular basis in Mykolaiv, Kharkiv, Nikopol, Donetsk region, south of Ukraine, you are living safe and sound life in Europe and enjoy beauty around. Guys, we need help. We must block those from coming to you. 196,000 people on prevent 1 million people, and I don't know how many Hamases or how many high precision guns we need to at least reoccupy Kherson. I'm not talking about territories which were invaded and which were intruded, which were occupied by Russia in 2014. We need people. Firstly, we need people, as you cannot compare 196,000 on information on on the table, on the official table. 196,000 people are now in Ukraine who are at the war, and 1 million and even 2 million from reserves, with whole Russia and so-called republics that they made. It's Luhansk National Republic and Donetsk National Republic, and plus some people from Belarus, but those are really teeny parts of that. But guys, just think about that numbers. Okay, let's say 2,000, 2,000 people, 200,000 people, yeah, and 2 million people. We need professional manpower, which will not only stop Russia from aggression, but will destroy Russia and cut it to 100 pieces of states, as 85% of Ukrainians support this idea, support this decision instead of peaceful peace. Thank you everyone for watching. Prepare yourself, prepare your morale and mentality. See you soon.